Good evening and Happy New Year, everyone. Got another special double feature tonight review. And we're going to be looking at Uncut Gems with the Safdie brothers and Greta Gerwig's Little Women. Gems, as just said, was directed by the Safdie brothers and stars Adam Sandler. The last big movie from the Safdie brothers was Good Time in 2017, which I haven't seen yet, but after hearing several good things about it and on the strength of how good Uncut Gems was, I will definitely be checking it out soon. The biggest strengths of the movie is probably the performance of Adam Sandler. And I think that was really played up in the marketing, just how over the top and crazy this character was, given Sandler's reputation of these not very good, kind of crappy comedy movies he always makes. And then he's giving a serious role like this, and he really shines and kills it. And his character, again, is just very over the top and charismatic and energetic, and it is very, very fun to watch and perfect for the story and the setting it's in. The movie follows Sandler's character, Howard Ratner, who is a New York jeweler. And right off the bat, we are made very aware that he doesn't make a lot of good financial decisions, that he has a lot of debt, he makes a lot of bad bets. And whenever he does finally come to some money, rather than try to pay some of the people off that he owes, he immediately puts it out again to bet on a basketball game or whatever the next big hit could be. And yeah, those are the kinds of choices he makes. Or what a really big strong point of the movie and what really keeps you on the edge of your seat is how tense and anxiety-inducing almost. You're nervous for a lot of moments in this film. There'll be a scene where lots of different people are in a room together, all talking over each other and arguing, or a door's stuck and all these people are trapped in a room together, and someone needs to get out in a rush and they can't figure out how to get the door open, which will make more sense when you see the movie, what I'm talking about. But throughout the movie, it's almost very stressful to watch, and your heart's really racing, and that kind of tension, I think, is a little off-putting for some people, but I think overall it really is a really, really strong point for the movie, and it really is what kept me and the people I saw it with engaged and, again, on the edge of our seats. Sandler is definitely the standout performance. Everyone else in the movie does a good job. You have Julia Fox, who plays Sandler's girlfriend mistress, and I think from what I've heard and read, this is her first big motion picture, so phenomenal. Kevin Durant is in this movie as Kevin Durant, the NBA player, and normally when athletes are in movies, it's dumb comedies, like when LeBron James was in Trainwreck, the Amy Schumer movie, and it's just goofy, and he's not supposed to be good. Kevin Durant was very good in this. He was very compelling and serious, and really brought a lot to the story and the movie overall. And again, everyone does a good job. Idina Menzel's in it. Again, Adam Sandler, though, is the definite standout and brings so much energy and life to the role and just fills up the screen when he's on it and is an absolute pleasure to watch. All this was just a lot of fun to watch. A lot of energy, a lot of tension. It makes you nervous sometimes, which I think a few people, that's a little off-putting. Overall, I think it adds for a heightened experience. Having said that, let's move on to Little Women. And was directed by Greta Gerwig and stars Emma Watson, Saoirse Ronan, I think that's how you say it, Florence Pugh, and Eliza Scanlon. Had to look up the fourth one. It's based on Mary Louise Alcott's book, which was published in 1868. Again, I really liked this movie, but I would also say it's probably not for everyone. As well as the book, follows the lives of these four sisters who grow up in the mid-19th century United States. Their father's off fighting in the Civil War. They have means, but they're almost like a poor rich family. They have a big house and all this food, but they don't have as much as their neighbor across the street or some of these other people, and they kind of have to scrape by sometimes, despite kind of being a more well-to-do family. Which feels like Jane Austen-ish, I'll go ahead and say, and I personally, unironically, really enjoy stories and settings like this, kind of like Pride and Prejudice or Wuthering Heights. I think it's its own kind of today niche genre of this English literature. This story takes place in the United States, but it feels very much like it's an Americanized Jane Austen novel, which I really liked. My mom, who loved this book when she was little, really enjoyed getting to see the movie, and I know there's other people who would like it. I also very much understand why a lot of people would see the trailer or poster and immediately be turned off from wanting to see this movie, and that's okay. I thought it was great performances, the two standouts being Florence Pugh and Saoirse Ronan, who play Amy and Jo March. like I said, Jane Austen-ish kind of feeling. So the setting is very idyllic, beautiful, eastern seaboard, United States countryside. The music's very calming a lot of times. Everyone else in the movie does a good job as well. Laura Dern's in it. Bob Odenkirk's in it a little bit. Chris Cooper, very star-studded, and everyone does great. Two kind of larger complaints that I don't think will. If you already know you like this movie or you're excited to see it, this isn't going to bother you. If you want to give it a try, and from a movie standpoint, that this might be something you notice a little bit more, and it's how the story's structured and how it's told. It's not like a typical narrative you'd have in a movie. Based on this book, again from 1868, and a lot of it really feels like things happening, almost like you're reading a biography of someone's life, which it kind of is. It's very allegorical, I think, to the author's life and her relationship with her sisters and family and all of that. So it's almost like just a list of things happening, and it maybe can't seem like sometimes there's not a driving plot thread or narrative. There is, but it sometimes gets a little buried. The main story gets buried a little sometimes over all these other events that just kind of seem to happen one after another. The experience of watching this movie a little bit is like when you read a book in English class, like you just got done with Dickens' Great Expectations or Tale of Two Cities or something, and then the whole class gets to watch the movie like as a treat after you read the book together. It almost felt like that, because this almost feels like, a book you would have to read in English class. Again, I overall enjoyed it and thought it was just charming and had good acting, and overall liked it. It does drag on far too long. Like with any other movie that drags on too long, you hit the point where everything seems to be wrapping up. Another few minutes and the credits will roll, and it just keeps going, and then just keeps going, and then just keeps going, and then just keeps, and it ends eventually, but just a little longer after it should have. Again, I overall enjoyed it. It does suffer from being too long and the plot being a little choppy. Again, I'm a little forgiving of that, realizing that this is adapted from a book, and from what I've read and heard from other people, that they were pretty true to the source material, which awesome. To finish off, like I said, I think they're both really good. I think Uncut Gems will entertain and appeal to a far wider audience. It's maybe a little more accessible. I'm sure there's a niche audience or group out there who really, again, likes this Jane Austen kind of thing. I think you'll probably like Little Women. I certainly did. If you like the book, I'm guessing you'll like the movie, since high production value, well acted, well done. It looks great. Between the two, though, you'll probably, if you're going to pick this weekend, you're just there tapping your foot, deciding to buy tickets to Uncut Gems and Little Women and not one of the other dozens of movies that are out right now. Uncut Gems is probably the safer bet. Happy New Year, and thank you for watching.